friend of our daughter Charlotte's came to Christmas lunch last year, and she bought this wonderful Rocky Road. And it is absolutely brilliant because it's very different. Liv is her name, and it's absolutely brilliant. And I loved it, and I begged her for the recipe. Now I've rechristened it. I hope you don't mind, Liv, but I call it Rocky Highway because it's not quite the same as Rocky Road. But I remember when I first came to Australia, I'm going to tell you a boring story now. When I first came to Australia, walking down the street and seeing, I think it was the Daryl Lee, that was the name of the confectionery, and their window was just full of this Rocky Road. Now I don't have a sweet tooth except when it comes to chocolate, and I had to go and buy, and I bought far too much, and of course I ate it all, and it was lovely. They've disappeared though, haven't they? Anyway, that's beside the point. This is Rocky Highway, I've decided, and it is a bit different. As you can see, one of the things that's in it is these jelly snakes, and you just chop them up. They're a bit of fun. So I enjoyed those. And also I've got some peanuts there, about 3/4 cup of peanuts, which I've chopped roughly. A couple of 100 grams of mini marshmallows, which are really nice. Also some desiccated coconut, which, half a cup of that. Just try and find these little ones. I think Liv actually used big ones, which she chopped up, but I'm being lazy. And of course the main thing is the chocolate itself. Now I've melted the chocolate here. Now there's only one thing when you're melting chocolate over water. You make sure that the bottom of the bowl is not touching the water, because if it does, it seizes. In goes our snakes, which as you can see I've chopped up. Also the marshmallows. I was very impressed by this, I must admit, and particularly the variation. And I know, look, this is not a criticism of her whatsoever, but I always remember a variation of, do you remember Dagwood? There used to be a cartoon strip for Dagwood, and he was always sitting in the diner, and he was in the diner. Now this has nothing to do with Liv's dish because hers is perfect. He's sitting in the diner and they've got chicken a la Prince on the menu. Now we all know chicken a la King, don't we? And he said to the waitress, he says, "What's chicken a la Prince?" And she said, "It's chicken a la King that didn't quite make it." Nothing to do with this, but I felt I was allowed to change the name. So just mix that up with all the goodies and make sure you break up anything that's in big clumps. So there we have that wonderful mix with all those goodies. And surprise, surprise, over here I have one that I made yesterday. I always swore that I'd never do that, but I have, because otherwise you'd be waiting overnight because it needs to set in the fridge. Now, to go with it, interesting, Blue Heaven milkshake would be wonderful. My favourite flavouring, Blue Heaven would be wonderful. Anyway, we're not making that today. We're making Mr. Prentice's suggestion, which is a Brandy Alexander. You remember Brandy Alexander? That's about as old as Daryl Lee, isn't it? So what I need is some creme de cacao, equal quantities, creme de cacao and brandy. When I first started in restaurants, there were 2 cocktails, only 2. You know, I suppose if you got somebody who was really sophisticated, they had a martini. But basically, they had Brandy Alexanders, and the other one was grasshoppers. You remember the grasshopper? They were sweet and sickly, pretty bloody revolting. But anyway, I think this will go well. Pretty well, because there's nothing worse than, haven't we all done it, that we start to shake a cocktail and it ends up all over us. Nutmeg on top, and that will go brilliantly with my delightful Rocky Highway. I hope you enjoy it. Good on you, Liv. A pretty brilliant idea, and you're welcome any Christmas.